Natalia. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I raise my children bilingual, and I'm also the president of the marketing department of Panem project. I have visited Croatia, Bolivia, Dominican Republic, Panama during my travels. The countries that I visited for missions are Bolivia and the Dominican Republic. I wanted to go on a mission trip because I wanted to help people and be able to learn about their culture, as well as have God use me to be able to share His word. During the first mission trip, I was part of the I Am Second organization. It's a nonprofit organization. And during the second mission trip, I was part of our church at that time. It was Calvario City Church. I had gotten involved with the I Am Second through some connections that I had in college through the Campus Crusade of Christ. There was an event and I met Chris Buckenpohl, which was a speaker at the event, and it was part of InterVarsity Fellowship, different organizations, and I made a contact, and then they offered me an opportunity to work for them during the summer, and that's how they knew me, and they had the opportunity to open up for a Bolivia expedition, and they were able to take me on their team. The projects that I worked on with I Am Second, we did small groups. I also served as translator for them. I was the only one in the group that spoke Spanish at that time, so I was able to help them as we traveled to Bolivia, and we did small groups in the little villages and helped the church that we were doing volunteer work for. I'm a Spanish major, so I had a lot of experience in translating, as well as we were taking classes to people over there, and I was an eyewear specialist. I worked at VisionWorks, and I had all the skills that were needed at that point. Like, I was able to serve as a translator and interpreter, as well as being able to help with glasses and explain, different optical information that people needed. For both mission trips, we had different trainings. We had some meetings, and they provided us with some information about previous projects they have been doing in the country. So, for example, in Tarija, Bolivia, they had the group that I was part of, the leaders, they actually gone before and they were planting churches. They had connections already, so they provided us with enough information of what to look for and what to expect, as well how to dress for the weather and everything like that. And then for the Dominican Republic, we also had some classes, and Listos para Salir, which is get ready to go. That was a big class that taught you about mission trips, so you did have some training. Besides that, on my own, I looked some stuff up online to make sure that I knew about the culture and where I was going, what it looked like. That was, since I was so excited. For the first mission trip, I had already gotten my passport due to some previous traveling, but I also needed to get a yellow fever shot. So I needed to arrange that, be able to pay for that. And then the rest of the paperwork was handled by I Am Second, by the group that I was part of. So all I did was, fill out some paperwork for them and be able to provide the information that they needed. But yeah, the passport and the yellow fever shot were the ones that I needed to take care of. And then for the second one, I had already had my passport. So pretty much it was just like filling out the paperwork and make sure that we had fundraised the money to be able to go. It's very important to be very honest about any medical information you need to give out, so that whoever's with you, whether it's in your team or over there in the organization, will be able to help you. Whether it's allergies, because you never know what the accommodations are going to be like. You have to be flexible. So you need to take any medication with you that you need if it's for allergies, and just to be what I would advise is to be honest about any medical issues that you may have, whether it's just regular allergy to dust or whatever it is, just to make sure that everybody could take care of each other. Because when you go on a mission trip, you don't know what to expect. You don't know where God is going to put you, and you just need to be prepared, just to make it easier for the whole group. The way that I prepare spiritually and mentally for these trips, I started preparing first with all the information that I needed to know of what was expected of me, and at the same time prepared to share my testimony. There was a lot of prayer, reading the word as well. That's another thing that I would definitely recommend. so that when you're out there, you're able to share, know that you can share the word and be able to talk to people. Mainly preparing to share your testimony. That's one thing that they may ask you. They asked me twice, and in front of, you don't know who's going to be in front of, so you also have to be tactful depending on the audience, what your story may be. But just be prepared to share your testimony. There will be a time that you are probably going to have to pray over others or preach, like deliver a message, whether it's to children or to the woman, to do a Bible study. So just have something like a lesson prepared and some like scripture prepared, as well as your testimony prepared, that if you were called, God calls you to go ahead and deliver a message, you can do that. As a group for the Torija Bolivia expedition, we did constant meetings, and then we went over different things that we had to prepare for. And then for the Dominican Republic mission trip, we also had meetings, and we were preparing as a group, as a team. We had between our fundraising and we also had prayer nights, worship nights that we prepared spiritually for. The safety precautions that were taken as a group, and when I went to Bolivia, we were always in a team. We were partnered in two. We had to be together. That's why in the rooms we were two people at a time, together. So another girl and I were in the same room. Body system. We had a body system. Wherever we went, we had to be together. And as well as when we were out in the field, we were partnered up with a translator. Even though I spoke Spanish, they also speak other languages as well, the indigenous languages. So it was good to have somebody that was from the country, that knew the culture, and were able to help us. So we were paired up with a translator, each one of us as well. The other thing, we weren't allowed to drink the water or eat certain things that may have been opened. So they provided us with meals, and they had to make sure that everything that we had was bottled. It was bottled water. And then in the Dominican Republic, we stayed at YWAM, which is the house for the missionaries, and they already had a bottle that we could just fill up our water with, and they also provided our meals, so we knew that we could trust whatever we ate, and we stayed as a group everywhere we went. Respect is very important, especially since you go into a different culture. You have to keep in mind that you can't just be flashing your phone, hey, look at my technology, to people that probably don't have the means to have that. The same thing with being modest with your clothing, to not wear anything that's too revealing. And in Bolivia, you didn't have to worry too much because it was cold, so you're constantly wearing layers and layers of clothes. But in the Dominican Republic, it's a different environment altogether, and some places I had to make sure that I had a longer skirt, or I was modest with my attire. I practice love and leadership through being kind to my team members and the people that we were to go visit. Sometimes, we come from a different background or different cultures, and we just need to be flexible and kind. So even if sometimes some of my members didn't feel comfortable doing what they were asked, you just step in and help them out. That if they were to share something, if they had a task and they weren't able to complete it or do it by themselves, then you go ahead and help them. If they're not as flexible eating certain foods, you just be kind to them, not get upset at them and tell them to eat their food. So pretty much it's just being loving to everybody and be able to help them out. I would definitely recommend having a journal, or if your phone helps, but a lot of times your battery probably will be dead. So having a notepad, something will be good, because you will remember people's names, the names of places that you visit, just what you were thinking at that moment. In the Dominican Republic, it was nice to have Bible study in the morning and be able to write down certain things that, how God is speaking to you, verses that, just that are so important and that go with what is happening, in your daily basis as a missionary. But it's very important to jot down different things, because when you come back home, you can reflect, you can tell people, hey, this is what I've learned, and you don't have to worry about those little details that can, you know, get cloudy over time. The first time I came back from my mission trip, it was tough. Even though they gave me all this advice, like, oh, you know, you could have culture shock, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm going to a Hispanic country, like, I'm from Puerto Rico, like, I've seen poverty, like, it's not a big deal, you know. I didn't think about it as much, but when I came back and I saw like how these people were pretty much stuck, you know, like in the United States you have access to the beach, you have access to all these different states, you have access to Disney, you have access to so many like cool restaurants. Like when you go over there and you know that a lot of these kids will never have access to certain medical care, that kids that need glasses and their eyes are like cross-eyed, they will never have glasses because they're so poor, you know. To know that they will never see the beach, they will never be able to have opportunities that you have, and sometimes you don't appreciate the opportunities that you have. It hit me, and that it definitely affected me for a little while. I had to get out of that cycle. I had to have some meetings with my groups and be able to discuss certain things for me to be able to relax. The first time I came for my first mission trip, I was really affected, even though I thought I wouldn't be. And the second time I wasn't as much. I had already gone on a mission trip, so I was like, I already knew like what to expect. It's still tough because, you know, knowing that one of the places that we went to, it gets flooded constantly and people lose their lives. I mean, one thing that actually affected me, it was a baby. There was a naked baby that was just playing in the mud on the road, and we were driving and we're like, the baby, you know, let's not like run over the baby. No adult was nearby, nobody. It was a baby playing in the mud, naked, like just there. And our van was just gonna go through the road. Like that, things like that affect me. Knowing that there's actual missionaries that we went to help. There's actually churches, there's people, Christian people that are trying, you know, to do the work, you know, to serve the Lord and be able to make these communities better. Keeps me calm as well. Like God is using these people to be able to help the situation. And of course through prayer and being able to, you know, go to church, read the word, and be able to have a community. I think, you know, that's the way that I can cope with this problems and things that, you know, that affect me coming back from a mission trip. Memorable moment that happened in one of my mission trips, I would say it was in the Dominican Republic. When we went to the leprosy center, it was incredible just walking in there and seeing, you know, all these people that had leprosy and be able to talk to them. While a lot of these people, they're separated from society because of leprosy. But they're taking their medications, so it's not contagious, but people still feel like they shouldn't, you know, go there or shouldn't talk to them or expose themselves, you know, to be around them. But these people need love. These people are lonely. It was an incredible experience, and to see one of them preaching to them, preaching about God, and he was their pastor, and it was amazing to see how happy he was, even though he was in so much pain and had gone through so many bad things. Medically. It was amazing how joyful that person was in his situation and how passionate he was. He wasn't afraid of dying. He wanted to be with the Lord. Like, he was so joyful, and he gave us a word, you know, and it was just such an amazing experience to be able to be there with them and talk to them and just be able to bond with these people that live there. And I thought that was, I never thought in my life I would go to a leprosy center and be able to talk to people that have that and just be able to bond with them. I definitely want to encourage you to go on a mission trip. I think it will be an amazing opportunity for you to learn about different cultures and learn about what God can do in other places and be able to let Him transform you to work on you.